I think like most of you, I worked very, very, very hard this past Rosh Hashanah. And the hard work didn't start on Rosh Hashanah itself. It started before Rosh Hashanah. Already on Monday night, I was, up late cooking. And then the next morning, on Tuesday morning, I was shopping in the morning for a few hours, and then I was cleaning up and cooking in the afternoon. And then every time, the thing is also, like, every time I would clean up, I don't know if this happened to you also, but every time I would clean up, somehow it would get just as messy as it had been before. So I kept on cleaning up again and again and again. So then I was up late cooking again on Tuesday night, and then all of Wednesday morning I was cooking and cleaning, and also with all the kids underfoot, it wasn't so easy. So by the time that Rosh Hashanah came in, I couldn't move. I lay in bed, and I thought, like, I felt like I really was so exhausted I was not going to be able to show up at Rosh Hashanah dinner. But actually it didn't happen. I lay down for an hour, and I had enough like strength to get up. So I got up, but then I realized, it wasn't over. I had set the table before and everything was all ready, but there was still dirty dishes in the sink from before Rosh Hashanah that hadn't been washed. And so then we had Rosh Hashanah dinner. It was very nice. But then I served, and I had to clean up afterwards. And then the next morning, I set the table up for first day of Rosh Hashanah lunch, set the table, served the food, cleared the table, washed the dishes, cleaned everything up. Then that evening again, I had to, get the food. I had to warm up the food and set the table and serve the food when everyone came, and then clear, and then wash everything up. And then the next day again, it was Friday. I had to, get things ready for lunch, set the table, clear the table afterwards, wash everything up. That evening also, Friday night, had to, set everything up and heat up the food and serve the food and clear the food. And Baruch Hashem, and also on Shabbat day and Rosh Hashana, and thank God, I have older children and I have a husband, Baruch Hashem, and so I did have some help, but most of the work fell on me. It was a lot of work. It was great. It was very uplifting, beautiful Rosh Hashanah, and also was a ton of work. So this morning, and my house is still somewhat of a mess. I'm still trying to recover from this whole Rosh Hashanah Shabbat tornado that hit us. So this morning, I went out of my house, and I saw my neighbor. I have such a lovely neighbor. We had this newly married couple that moved in, and they only moved in like a few weeks ago, so we don't really know them so well. But I've been noticing this neighbor. So the wife's name is Gabby, and she wears she's always wearing, many times when I see her, she's wearing like a little running outfit, like a little sort of like running tank top, a little running shorts, and and running shoes. And so I asked her, I said that her shirt said Jerusalem Marathons. I said, do you run marathons? And she says, yes. So we started talking about that. And she was telling me about what it's like running a marathon. So I told her, I said, I can't really relate. I said, I've read about this, how people are addicted to running marathons and how it gives them this real high, but I can't relate to it. I can't relate to what that is. I would think it'd be really, really, really difficult. So Gabby explained to me, she said that when she started dating her now husband, he was a marathon runner, and she had never run at all. But then about 2 years ago, she started running, and initially she was like, what is this? This is terrible. Why would anybody choose to put themselves put themselves through this kind of suffering? Why? But then it started growing on me. She said, and now I feel such intense pleasure when I'm running. So I really kept on asking her. I said, it's the pleasure of the endorphins. She says it's the endorphins. She says, but by the end of the race, she said when I finish, she said yesterday, Shabbat morning, unfortunately, she ran a half marathon, which is 21 kilometers. It took her 2 hours of running. Okay, and she said like when I finish, she says up until now, I think she said she's only run half marathons, and she's training now for a full marathon. She said, but when I finish that half marathon, she told me, she said, I have tears in my eyes. I feel such intense pleasure, such intense pleasure. And I was like, is it the endorphins? She's like, no, it's not the endorphins. It's the feeling of satisfaction. The feeling of satisfaction of knowing I pushed myself and it was hard. It was hard and I pushed myself and I pushed myself. And I did it. I did it. And I was like, I looked at her, there she is, like in her, marathon outfit, and I'm there like pushing a baby carriage. And I'm like, I am too. I'm a marathon runner too. I'm a marathon runner too. And I think that a lot of what we Jewish moms have to do, like all of us, not only me, all of us, all of you Jewish moms, we're all marathon runners. We're running and running and running and running. And it's difficult, and it's not easy. We're pushing ourselves, and we're, setting one more table and clearing one more table and cooking one more with Rosh Hashana and, changing one more diaper and helping that child and doing all the things we have to do, like in our lives as Jewish moms, and we're marathon runners. I think it's so important to learn how to access that pleasure. So how do we access that pleasure? How do we access that intense, like Gabby when she crosses the finish line and she's like crying with pleasure, How do we access that? How do we access that same, as marathon runners, how do we access that same pleasure? So I wanted to read to you two inspirational things that I read over this Rosh Hashana. One thing I read, so the first thing is it's from a letter that I read in Family First magazine. And it was from a letter to the editor, written by, Rabbi Nassan Muller, the director of Yeshiva Torah Emes in Brooklyn, New York. And he writes the following. Okay, he says, "Let me begin by saying that when Jews, men or women, make the decision to be mechanech Yiddisher Kinderlach, to educate Jewish children, they are doing it for one reason only: to have the most rewarding experience that Olam Hazeh, that this world has to offer, to teach and elevate a Yiddish neshama, a Jewish soul, to its utmost." I'm going to read that again. Okay? This is you, Jewish mom. This is what you're doing. "Let me begin by saying that when Jews, men or women, make the decision to be mechanech Yiddish Kinderlach, to educate Jewish children, they are doing it for one reason only: to have the most rewarding experience. There's nothing more rewarding in the whole world than this experience. The most rewarding experience that Olam Hazeh, that this world has to offer, to teach and elevate a Yiddish neshama, to teach and elevate a Jewish soul to its utmost." And it really got to me. Like, I read this on Rosh Hashana, and I was like, wow, like, that's what I'm doing? Sometimes I think that, as a Jewish mom, like, a lot of what I'm doing, I feel like I'm like the family manager, and like I'm keeping things going in the house. Like, I'm making sure that there's food, and I'm signing, that note from school, and making sure that this one has shoes, and, taking this one to the doctor, and, keeping all this family flowing. But I'm doing something so much more lofty than that, I am teaching and elevating a Yiddish neshama to its utmost, raising up these children to fill their ultimate potential. Amazing. That's what we're doing. That's the finish line. That's like the thrill, the crying with pleasure of the finish line, of reaching that, of having raised, a Yiddish neshama to its highest possible potential. Can you imagine? Wow. I'm waiting for it. And so I want to read something else very inspirational that I read. It's actually a bit controversial, let's say, a little bit provocative, by Rabbi Michal Tversky Shlita. He's the Horn of Stapler Rebbe, and some people call him the Milwaukee Rebbe. He lives in Milwaukee, so basically, Bina magazine, in their Rosh Hashana issue, then they interviewed a lot of rabbis and asked them what's the most important message to get across to Jewish moms and Jewish women for Rosh Hashana. What's the most important thing that we need to work on? So Rabbi Tversky said like the main thing we need to be working on. Okay, he said in order basically to save the world from the crisis, from all the different various crises that the modern world is in. What's the most important thing that Jewish women can do? Okay, so Rabbi Tversky says the crucial word is enablement. Jewish women must return to their crucial and classic role as the enablers of our peoplehood. Let me explain. Enablers, he means the people who help. That we are always assisting and helping. We're not in like the main role. We're like sort of in the assisting role in the Jewish people. Contemporary, no, don't turn off the video. Let me read. It's very nice. It's very inspirational. Contemporary women bristle at the suggestion that they should not be right up there as protagonists on every stage of Jewish life. Enabling implies obscurity, facilitating the fame and acclaim of someone other than oneself, while languishing unnoticed and appreciated in the shadows backstage. Right? We're always enabling these. We're always backstage, and and no one sees us. We're not like the we're not the we're not winning the Academy Award for best actor. We're winning it for best supporting actor. Okay. Permit me to put forward that enabling is a quintessential quality of the divine persona, right? So what he's saying is like that enablement, more than anything else, it characterizes what Hashem is. It characterizes who Hashem is. Hashem is the ultimate enabler, just like you and me. Hidden in the obscurity of nature and the limitless cosmos, Hashem orchestrates our lives in ways that urge and challenge us to perfect our spirits, ennoble our character, and actualize the grandeur of our potential in living sinew and muscle. Right? Hashem, more than anything, Hashem is behind the scenes. We don't see Hashem. He's hidden, but He is orchestrating our lives and running everything in our lives. Just like we're like marionettes in this whole puppet theater of life, of existence. Hashem's behind the scenes. We don't even see Him. Right? In the shadows of history, Hashem enables us to grow and become. The subtle but powerful influences of love, encouragement, trust. Wait, this is what you're doing for your kids, Jewish Mom. The subtle but powerful influences of love, encouragement, trust, respect, comfort, reassurance, and incentive that flow from the heart and hearth of Jewish women are unmatched by any other agency in the entire universe for power, impact, and efficacy. Right? They're more powerful, have a bigger impact, and they have a bigger effect than anything else in the world in terms of in shaping our children and our families, right? The need for our generation to aspire, prioritize ideals, to cherish Torah values, to take pride in personal discipline, to seek truth, to yearn for a relationship with Hashem is the pivotal key to reclaiming our national integrity and glory, and is firmly and unmistakably in the hands of our wives and mothers. These are the things that we want more than anything for our children, right? For our children to cherish Torah values, for them to have lofty ideals, for them to take pride in personal discipline, to seek truth, to have a connection with Hashem, and it's all on us. It's all on us, Jewish moms. It's all in our hands, right? By properly enabling our children and being, this supporting role and encouraging and loving and trusting in them and whatever, we're the ones who are going to make that happen. Nobody can do the job as well. Nobody, I suspect, can do the job at all other than Jewish moms, the Jewish mom. I apologize, ladies, for the pressure, but I, for one, am convinced that Klal Yisrael's fate, the Jewish people's fate, future, and redemption are in your hands. You hear that, Jewish mom? Wow. Okay, so I want to bless all of you Jewish moms. We're running a marathon. It's the Rosh Hashana is over, Rosh Hashana Shabbat is over, and then we have Yom Kippur this coming Shabbat, and after that we have Sukkot, and that Sukkot's maybe even longer marathon than Rosh Hashana, and then Simchas Torah and Shmini Atzeret. So I want to bless all of you Jewish moms that as we're raising our children, we're uplifting these Jewish souls to their highest possible potential. That we should feel already. My mother-in-law, she told me about this phrase that I love in German. It's called Vorfreude. Vorfreude is the joy that you feel before. It's the joy that you feel in anticipation of what's going to be. Like you're going to go on you're going to go on a vacation. You feel the Vorfreude. You're about to give birth. You feel the Vorfreude of what it would be like to hold that baby in your hands. And now with us, as Jewish moms, I think a lot of it, we're running the marathon. It's not easy, and we're running the marathon. It's not easy, and I bless all of us with that Vorfreude, with that joy of anticipation of what's going to be when we cross that finish line. Okay, and I bless all of you Jewish moms with an amazing New Year. Shana Tova, Mituka.